we look forward to seeing you guys down at Equip Expo 2023, October 17th through the 20th. Guys, don't forget to use promo code Brian to register and save your guys' self 50% all summer long. Get those tickets ASAP. And by the way, we do earn a little bit of a kickback, and that goes right into supporting the show, supporting the podcast, and the YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much in advance if you happen to use our code. And don't forget to register you and each individual that you got to bring for your team. You got to register each person separately.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, welcome to the podcast episode today, guys. We're going to be talking about a little bit of current events, but also something I wanted to share about, and Exmark didn't ask me to do this, but I wanted to weigh in on the mower that we recently received from Exmark, and that is the Exmark Radius X Series lawnmower, and more specifically, not only the mower, but how it relates to the next mower for so many guys listening in and so many people that are just getting started in the industry about how that is a great mower to go with, to upgrade to, that can give you guys the next launching point, the next launching pad to really expand your business, to get it to where it needs to be, to get the, the farther down the spectrum and the higher end mowers like the top of the line version of that said brand. I.e. for Exmark, it'd be the Laser Z X or the S or the E series, but the laser lineup. And long story short, I'm really impressed with the Radius because, we received it just last week, Wednesday or Thursday or whatnot. I made a YouTube video on it, and I was blown away at the redesign of the mower for 2021 or 2022, whatever it was. I kind of get it mixed up with the COVID year because Equip Expo was postponed and canceled that year. So I'm trying to remember if a lot of things were released in 2020 or if they were re-released in 2021. I'm trying to remember, but it's all kind of a gray area for about 2 or 3 years. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. But nonetheless, they redesigned the Radius, and it is an absolute beast of a mower. It's got a 31 horsepower Kawasaki, a beautiful bolstered seat, Exmark's Ultra Cut Series 4 deck, unibody frame. It is a professional mower in every single way, shape, and form that I could observe. And so what I wanted to say for just a quick minute was a lot of folks ask me, hey, what is the next best mower to get if I'm looking to expand from a push mower or a garden tractor? Maybe it started as a side hustle. There's a great podcast out there I encourage you guys to listen to, the Side Hustle Squad. That's with Mike Garvey. He's got a background in law enforcement and has a bunch of great guest interviews with other folks that are running their business part-time, full-time. And, by the way, don't think that part-time means, you're just making 5, 8, 10, 12, 20 grand. I know there's a lot of guys that run a side hustle, right? That's doing $500,000. Mike Garvey, and so many more. It's absolutely awesome to see what people are able to do nights and weekends. And so that really relates back to a lot of guys that are mowing grass and they have this side hustle and it starts to grow and they go from a push mower or garden tractor or maybe, a hand-me-down beater, zero turn, something, a time cutter, maybe that you got for $2,000 at Home Depot and you're ready to upgrade. Well, that's what I wanted to just share about the Exmark Radius. No hard pitch here. Exmark isn't asking me to, lob a soft one down the middle to hit a home run on anything here. Actually, they don't put very many requirements on anything I need to share with them as an Exmark brand ambassador or partner. They're a great manufacturer, great people behind the scenes. The dream partnership for me to work with any one brand, if we had to be an influencer and if we had to be somebody that's out front on YouTube and has a bigger YouTube channel, quote unquote, and somebody said, hey, what's a dream brand that you'd like to work with? Well, there's only a short list, 3, 4, 5 brands probably, just like you guys would have. Your mower brand, your handheld brand, your trailer brand, and maybe your truck brand. Well, the cream rises to the top, the creme de la creme of what I use, just like most of you guys as well. And for our mowers, we've used Exmark. We've used Exmark for, since 2006, 2007. What would that be? Going on 15, 16, 17 years now, which is absolutely crazy. And that goes full circle to the two-part question. One, if you guys are looking for a great backup mower, a commercial mower, or you guys are looking for something to expand, maybe you don't want to commit the full 12, 15, 18, 20 grand for a Laser Z for example. I get it. But maybe you wanted to get that second crew growing and going out on a budget. The Radius would be great. But then also you guys that are expanding to take that side hustle where you had maybe 10, 12, 15 lawns and you want to expand to 20, 30, 40 lawns. Again, you've got the cash flow to new, $200-$300 monthly payment. Maybe you've saved up 5, 10, 15 grand in cash, which are all great opportunities there. And you want to expand into that next mower. Well, I've been telling people for years the Radius is where it's at. And ever since it's redesigned, like I was going back to full circle, I'm 100% convinced that it's the Exmark Radius. Okay, so if you guys are looking to, take your lawn care company and your side hustle from 6, 8, 10 lawns to 30, 40, 50 lawns and, make that 30, 40, 50, 80 grand a year in revenue, this is like that sweet spot mower that I wanted to share about for just a couple quick minutes. And again, this is a two-part question or a two-part answer or a discussion, if you will. One, this is great for the homeowners, and two, this is great for the business owners. So some of you guys listening into the podcast have, 2, 5, 10 acres of property, residential property, and estate-style property, and are looking for a mower for that property. I, again, would go with the Exmark Radius, but also the guys that are looking to expand and even grow their company and get to that next level before you maybe get to the Laser Z platform, if you will. I would encourage you guys to check out the Exmark Radius. All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to talk about that, a couple little current events, some things going on with the barns, some things going on with the house. We've got a lot of exciting updates that are going around here in the Fullerton household. If you guys want to hang tight for just a quick minute, we're going to talk a little bit more today's podcast about what is the best mower to expand into, what's the best bang for the buck, what is the best value package zero-turn mower out there in the market on today's podcast. Guys, hang tight. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, and we're going to come right on back.
When it comes to running a lawn and landscape business, there's always something to worry about. Are my drivers and crews doing their job? Are my clients happy? Are my trucks and machines safe? How can I make more money? Where can I save some money? With GPS Track It, you don't have to worry about it, because our software gives you a level of clarity and control over your business that you've never had. From real-time vehicle and asset tracking and optimized routing to efficiency reports and more, reach your fullest business potential. Call 866-845-1410 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to get started. That phone number and special link are in the show description. GPS Track It. The Know Your Numbers Profitability and Pricing Calculator is here. Are you tired of uncertain profits? Then get the tools you need to price your lawns correctly. Recover overhead, calculate man-hour rates, and budget for success. Exclusively at Launchpreneur Academy, this brand new resource is guaranteed to give you the confidence you need to run a profitable business. Get started now with the Know Your Numbers Profitability and Pricing Calculator at LaunchpreneurAcademy.com.
All right, guys, well, we are going to jump right on back into it here. And I wanted to circle back to just a quick plug for Equip Expo. And the reason is because the tickets are selling like hotcakes. Registrations are up significantly year over year. We just got an email from the Equip team just the other day, and that was some really fascinating news and a lot of excitement, a lot of energy building towards the Equip Expo. We did a podcast episode, I think just earlier this last week on Monday, talking about all things Equip. So if you guys are looking to get the latest and greatest for the biggest trade show that we all pretty much ascend to, or ascend or descend on to, is in Louisville, Kentucky, October 17th to the 20th. You can get your promo code Brian to save you 50%, which makes the ticket registration a whopping $12.50 instead of the $25 that it currently is at equipexpo.com or equip-expo.com it might be. That being said, again, the reason I wanted to talk about the Exmark Radius is because that is where I saw the redesigned platform at the Exmark booth circa 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm not sure when they revamped the platform. It might have been in 2018, 2019, but it could have actually just been, rebranded and re-debuted, if you will, with all the upgrades in 2021. But man, if you guys have gotten started in the business with a Radius and you guys know what the old platform looked like, it probably has very little in common with the new redesigned one that they have out today. You got 31 horsepower Kawasaki engine, big fat knobby rear tires. I mean, the tread on these things is more aggressive and beefier than anything I've seen. Again, you got the Exmark Ultra Cut Series 4 deck, sweet bolstered seat, I'm not sure the gallon capacity on the fuel tank, probably a 6 or 8 gallon tank, might be even a little less, maybe like a 5 gallon tank. You got the commercial grade air canister style filter on top of the Kawasaki engine, and you've got ROPS or roll bars, which typically comes in those commercial option lawnmowers. Okay, you don't really find those on like the residential grade time cutters, if you will, or something that's sold at the store, or the Pioneers or the Quests, maybe the lower tiered Exmark units. So if you haven't taken a look at them in the near while, again, here's the one thing I'd say. Exmark's my brand. Weingart's is our dealer of choice. That's what sells Exmark by us. They do sell a little bit of Toro residential, some commercial Cub, a little this, a little that. But for the most part, it's Exmark country around where I live. And so that being said, just because I think the Exmark Radius is amazing, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to drive 4 hours to your nearest Exmark dealer to go get one. So I don't want it to be that kind of a pitch. What I will say is find that mid-tier commercial entry unit for the brand that's closest to you, that your dealer has, that you can have serviced and supported after the sale, right? Because that's going to be the biggest determination of the uptime and productivity for that mower. And again, whether you're a homeowner or a commercial business owner, that mower's got to run, right? We got to log hours on it to have it turn revenue to hopefully make us some profit. And that has a lot more to do with service than it does just the sale, right? So you might say, well, I can get an Exmark mower. It's 4 hours away and blah, blah, blah. And I know they have legendary build quality. That's fine. But all mowers break down, no doubt about it. Deck belts go, pulleys go. And if you need to track, 3-4 hours across the state or, state lines to go get your mower fixed, not the best idea. So maybe find the dealer 15, 20 minutes down the road from you and stick with that brand. Now, if you do have Exmark to go full circle, then you're in luck. I would encourage you guys to really check out the Radius platform. In fact, the price point on it, just for some of you guys listening in, is around $7,000, $7,500 or something like that for the E series, mid-9s for the S series. So Exmark goes E, S, and X. Missed opportunity there. But the top of the line trim is the X, and that's going to put you in around the high 10s, low 11s, like maybe 11.5 out the door for the Radius X series, which is the top trim of the Exmark platform. So same thing with the Laser Z, for example, right? They've got the E, the S, and the X. And for the Vertex, right, they have the S and the S. So, maybe down the road, they'll expand that product line and they'll have an E or an S or an X, right? One of those kind of deals. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to go to Equip Expo to find out. So when you guys are looking to expand your business, one of the number one questions I receive from so many of you guys that are just literally crushing it out there is, hey, I've got $2,500 saved up. I've got $5,000 saved up, $10,000 saved up, or you've got some good money saved up. You got some good cash flow. You got maybe 30, 40 customers, which is great. That's nothing to scoff at. I give you guys so much credit to have a full-time job and 30 customers on the side, and you're working 12s this and summers off that. Maybe you're a teacher, a firefighter, a PD, this or that. That is a way more challenging of a schedule to juggle and manage than somebody's got carte blanche 168 hours a week opened up, arguably, or 112 hours working days minus sleep and night to get, their lawns cut. That to me is way more impressive of somebody who's, has a balancing act and a juggling act than somebody who's just full time. But nonetheless, I get questions all the time. Hey, I've got $2,000 saved up, $5,000 saved up, $10,000 saved up. What's the next mower to buy? And my answer for a long time was always believe it or not, an Exmark Turf Tracer. But ever since those became around $8, $9, $10,000, just from cost and materials and engineering. I asked actually somebody, I said, hey, why are the mowers getting so expensive these days? And a lot of the mower brands, the price is becoming so expensive because of the technology, the welding, the unibody frames, the patents, right? All this stuff costs money in manufacturing. And so obviously the equipment is going to cost more money than something that has a bolted together frame versus a unibody welded frame. Okay, the robotics behind it, or maybe some of the different components. Maybe they're maybe making things out of magnesium versus maybe making things out of aluminium or steel or something like that, right? So all these components end up costing more money to make a better product, to have less downtime, to have less parts. But that cost obviously is going to be associated with, or higher price is going to be associated with that thinning out of how many parts are on a mower. Maybe there's 1,500 moving parts on a mower, and now they're down to 500, moving parts. Well, the engineering behind that takes time and money and R&D and all this other mess and robotics. So that was a question I had that I was talking to somebody. I said, why are these things beginning to be so expensive? Mowers just in general, 15 grand, sometimes 18 grand for a mower. Well, besides supply chains and bottleneck issues and all that other mess, it's just engineering. It's just the cost of manufacturing these days. And frankly, that's a whole side tangent for why, even if you're a part-time guy, you shouldn't be cutting lawns for $20 or $25 or $30, right? I mean, the minimums these days have to be $45, $50, $60, $75. And I know that's a challenge for a lot of you guys in a lot of markets. I get it. We're not that much different from you guys. And I know it's extremely different maybe in parts of Texas or parts of Florida. I get it, where it seems like everybody's doing it for $20. I get it. But we all struggle with that in some way, shape, or form in the mow side of the industry, okay? But to answer the question, to go full circle and not to beat a dead horse, people are like, hey, what's next more to expand into? And as you guys would imagine, the answer originally was the turf tracer. But, if those things are going to be 8, 9, 10 grand these days, you might as well just look over the fence for 10 grand, maybe 10, 11 grand at a Radius or a Vertex, right? I think entry Laser ZEs are going to be in the 12s or 13s. Don't quote me. And I get that. Not everybody can just jump into a $13,000 mower. I'm not advocating that either. But pretty much everybody can roll tide into a 7, 9, 10, maybe grand mower. And frankly, I was just talking to somebody the other day at the dealer, a younger guy. He knows who he is, and had an incredible irrigation job that he installed. His name's Gabe. Gabe's Lawn Care. You guys know Gabe from last year in the summer tour. And he was talking about different mower options out there. And we were talking financing or paying cash. He could do both. We're talking about which brand. He could kind of go with whatever. We're talking about his property type and his property sizes. That was really the determining factor. And but really, he was also exploring engines options between Kawasaki and Kohler, and some different conversations there. And it was a really fun kind of a litmus that he was like, for only like $20 more a month, if I finance this thing, he's like, I could pay cash, but I want to keep my cash on hand because I'm expanding either a truck or a trailer, or I want to add some employees, some part-time help. So I want to keep my cash. He was saying, if I finance the mower on 0% and go with the next model up, and it's maybe $20 more a month for an extra, $1,000, $1,500 retail, he goes, that might be the option I want to go with as I expand and grow into the platform. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. I thought that was a fantastic thought process. That's what I would do. And so anyway, if you guys are looking to expand your next mower, you don't want to get too little of a mower, but you also don't want to get too much of a mower. And I don't think you can really ever have, quote unquote, too much of a mower unless you have like a 96-inch, wham, type mower, and you're doing residential properties. Okay, maybe that is too much mower. But I don't think even if you went with a 72-inch, 40 horsepowered, zero-turn mower, I don't think you're ever going to struggle even mowing residential lawns with that, unless they have gated backyards, of course, right? But that's a whole nother talk for a whole nother time. Actually, I think it was podcast episode 152. We were talking all about mowers, or 153, and the subsequent podcast episode we talked about all things trailers. So if you guys are just starting to navigate like where to grow and where to expand into mower-wise and trailer-wise, I would totally encourage you to go back to the library of podcast episodes to 152, 153. Some of our favorite episodes, some of our most listened to episodes by far, talking about what mower to get and what trailer to get. Okay, so great podcast episodes there. To wrap up the thought there with the Radius, and to talk about the mower that you can expand into, if you're going from 8 or 10 lawns, you're 100% going to be able to expand into the Radius to 40 or 50 lawns. And not only that, if your company continues to grow a couple years later, maybe you're going full-time at this point, or who knows, and you're going to 60, 80, 100 lawns, my observation would be the Radius is still going to keep up. It's still going to cut grass like crazy. I mean, I just mowed my 3.5 acre property. I mean, the grass was 12, plus inches tall. I did end up double cutting it just because I'm, a psychopath. But I did end up double cutting it, and it looks absolutely beautiful. And it's mostly field grass, so a lot of weeds, a lot of, the tall like dandelion type weeds and the thin stalky type of weeds. I don't remember all my weed types anymore, or my turf types. It's been, 15, 20 years removed from True Green. But a lot of that stuff, the stemmy, weeds. Actually, that's a quick plug for the Adapt feature for the Exmark Laser Z. That would be something cool to check to test with. My property would be the perfect property for that. I have to try to figure out if I can get a demo with that The Adapt technology itself is supposed to be able to pull the deck pin, put the rake or the pitch, I guess, of the deck up a little bit, an extra inch or two on the backside, where it tilts the deck forward and pulls up that rear side to let more air in, and is supposed to be able to pitch the blade to, hit those stalks and those stems a little bit better to be able to, mow down those weeds that much better. My property would be a great example of a site like that. That being said, if you go back to the Radius, and let's say you are taking your company from 50, 60 lawns to 80, 100, 200 lawns, whatever it is, you can expand into the the Laser ZX, or you can expand into the Vertex if there's an S or an X or whatever it is in the future. You can expand into those and still keep that Radius as a backup mower, like we were talking about at the top of the show. And that mower would absolutely keep up. It's not like you're buying a 42-inch, mower that is great for gated backyards, and it's just what you had laying around your property or your house, and you have this mower kind of sticking around for a while. Well, it's not great for backyards because you need 36-inch or smaller gated property mower. It's not great for front yards because it's only 42 inches. You need a 52, 60, something like that. That would be ideal. So what do you do with that 42? Well, you're not going to get stuck with a Radius 52 in the E and the S or a 60 in the X, if I'm not mistaken, the SKUs are, okay? You're not going to get stuck with that thing and go, darn it, I just dropped 10, 11 grand. This isn't going to fit my mower portfolio as our company starts to expand or starts to grow into residential or even commercial properties. The long story short, amazing platform. You can't go wrong with it. In my opinion, like I said, I had been saying it for years. The Turf Tracer is where it's at. Still a great mower, still a great property, especially some of you guys that have sloped properties or hilled properties. Now, do you want to drop 9Gs on a brand new one? That's up to you. Do you want to go to Facebook Marketplace and find one for $3,000? It's got 2,000 hours on it. I mean, they're literally bulletproof. They'll literally last forever. Okay, I bought a 32 or 33. I forget what it was. I think it was a Metro, if I'm not mistaken. It had a 14 horsepower engine on it, Kawasaki, whatever it was. I had clearly been the fourth, fifth, sixth owner on this thing. And it was my gated backyard mower, and it worked just fine. It didn't have a floating deck. It had a fixed deck with the little brass, height adjustments, manual height adjustments. So I had to drop the fork, put the rings on the opposite side of the frame, and then had those little spacers, all that mess. If you guys have been there, you've been there. That was brutal, but we used that mower for, 3-4 years until I sold it in probably 2017, and it did just fine. And I sold it, traded it in to the dealer. I paid $800 for it from a guy off of Facebook. I literally remember, like it was yesterday, going up to this random dude, crackhead dude's house, picking this thing up, and he had a sulky with it, and he's like, I'm like, how much you want for the sulky? He's like, I don't know, man, $20. It was something ridiculous. I'm like, I think it was $80. And I think retail, they were $200-300 back in the day. I said, dude, sure, I'll take the sulky too. And it was just funny, but I ended up trading it into the dealer to Weingart's, and they gave me $400 for it. 3 years later, fifth owner, sixth owners type deal. Okay. My point is, these things keep their value for a long time. If I private partied it and I had the time, I probably could have got, $500, $600, $700 for it probably. But I just ended up trading it in, trading in and trading up. I think I had traded in that and my Z at the time to get my new Laser ZX. And I think we picked up the aerator at the time. This was circa 2016, 2017. Some of you guys saw those initial videos on YouTube. So that being said, the Exmark Radius, I used to say, hey, go grab the Turf Tracer, but for a little bit less money, you get a zero turn, a riding platform. Absolutely beautiful, stunning looking mower. If you guys haven't seen the video, we'll have it tonight on YouTube with a mowing vlog, mowing our property. It performed like crazy well. That's something that twofold. One, we're going to use as a backup commercial mower. Two, we can expand into another route with it. Three, I'm going to have it at my property, most likely, most of the time, to be able to mow our property. Like I said, it's like commercial entry. And whether you're a homeowner that's got a decent budget that you want to expand and get a zero-turn mower for, there's a lot of people out there, guys, that have 2 to 5 acres, and that's a huge market for a manufacturer. Maybe check out the Exmark Radius, the E, the S, and the X. Obviously, the X at the top of the line. Beautiful mower out there. Okay. And if you guys are looking to expand your company, your mow business, and you guys are going from 5, 10, 15 lawns and you're looking to expand to the next lineup and you're like, hey, can't exactly afford a $15,000, $18,000 Laser Z for now. I get it. But maybe look at the Radius. I think there is a huge value package there, I guess is my point. It's a tremendous value for what it costs and for what it is and for what you get for that platform that absolutely will keep up with a Laser Z. I mean, it's mechanically wise, there's going to be the differences there, and engineering wise, there's going to be the differences there. Ultra Cut 6 deck versus an Ultra Cut 4 series and whatnot. But I'm telling you, for like the value, 31 horsepower bolstered seats, Ultra Cut 4, beautiful frame, beautiful seat. It's awesome. It's an amazing value. And I'm just thinking to myself, how do not more people not know of this thing? And then number 2, I want to make sure more people know about this thing. But then number 3, I did that video on YouTube, and there was quite a few comments, dozens of comments at least, saying, hey, I got my business started with a Radius. That took me all the way up to me picking up my Laser Zs. Hey, I got an Exmark Radius, the previous edition, a couple years ago model, and I've got 700 hours on it, and it's made us a ton of money. There was tons of comments saying, I was actually surprised at how many of you guys started your business or grew your business into a Radius or started with a Radius, and hopscotch from there, to a different mower, the higher end commercial 0-turn mower, but hopefully preferably a Laser Z, right? If you're an Exmark fan. But it was me sharing my opinion, my observation, and all the data that I can about what's the best mower out there that I see that makes the most sense. And it was funny just hearing so many people reiterate and confirm that was a fantastic buy, a fantastic value, a fantastic platform, and a great package and a great value for you guys to grow your business. Okay. And I know some of you guys listening in, you're all crushing it, doing hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're buying, 2, 3, 4, 5 0-turns at a time or standards at a time. I get it. But remember back in the day, many of us remember all the way back when you had 8 lawns, 10 lawns, 20 lawns, going to 40, 50 lawns, how much a 31 horsepower, folks. Like, I think the Laser Z E has like a 25 or 27 horsepower engine at 12 or 13 grand. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, look at the value here. 31 horsepower, Ultra Cut Series 4, bolstered seats, huge knobby tires, amazing platform. Okay, imagine starting your business from a push mower or a lawn tractor, like so many of us did, then upgrading 2 or 3 years later for 11 Gs for $200 a month, with good old Sheffield, the 0% or whatever you can get for it, for $249 a month to get an Exmark Radius. Like, how much more productive would your business have been? Mine would have been phenomenally better. I actually went with a Turf Tracer. I actually went with a Viking. It's like cousin, which would have just been fine if I had the Turf Tracer. But my gosh, I bought mine back in the day for $5,300. Today's money, it's probably, $8,000. I know a Turf Tracer is like 10. And if I would have just went for 11, I always say 0-turns are twice as fast or productive as a walk behind. Man, it would have been game over in terms of making money in production. All right. So that's what I got for you guys on today's topic and podcast. What is the best value package mower? That's kind of the theme of the podcast episode and show. I really, really am trying to give you guys what I would do if I was taking it all the way back, what I would grow into, what I would grow with, who, when, why, how. And I think this is just a missing puzzle piece that I get asked quite a bit from emails and DMs on Instagram and, questions all over the place, YouTube comments, like, what's the best mower to get or what's the best mower to move into? I wish the package was $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. Don't get me wrong. I got a lot of people, hey, what's the best mower for $5,000? And I'm like, well, dude, like, even if you go to Lowe's and Tractor Supply and Rural King, there's a lot of platforms out there that are $3,000 to $5,000, but guys, if you're mowing for money, if you're mowing to make money and running it as a business, I just don't think there's a huge opportunity to find a $4,000 mower that you're going to be happy with, that's going to go the distance with your business and the demands that you're going to put on it, if that makes sense, for $3,000, $4,000. Not in 2023. I think it would be a hard sell to convince anybody that you'd get a platform or a package like that, even in 2018 or 2019. I think the goalposts have moved. I think 7 to 10 grand is that first mower these days. I think that's that first price point outside of like your residential units that you're going to get at the big box stores, unless you really want a Quest or a Pioneer, whatever is like the entry, tiered mower for Exmark, or pick your brand. But I think if you're looking at apples to apples, that 7 to 10 grand range across the different brands, for real, I'm convinced. I think you got a great package there in the Radius. Okay, so anyway, go to exmark.com, check it out. If you guys are going to Equip Expo, check out the booth, indoor and outdoor. I'm sure they'll have a couple Radiuses floating around. Awesome mower. It's got a lot of my time and attention and focus on it right now. I'm doing my best to help Exmark talk a little bit more about it, obviously. But nonetheless, that is a mower that, man, I'm telling you what, if I could go all the way back and do it all over again, that would be my first upgrade too. Maybe even before Lasers EE, for crying out loud. If that thing would have been 7 and my other one was, 10.4, maybe I could have got that for $7,500 and kept a little bit of cash on hand and got a bigger trailer. I don't know, or hired some more help. You don't always have to get the biggest thing at the time. You can always use that thing as a backup a couple years later, or trade it and trade up to something that's fantastic. You don't always have to bite off as much as you can chew. Sometimes it's okay to, go from peak to peak. All right. That's what I got for you guys on today's podcast episode. Just a simple one, but the best value package more that I can come up with, folks, the Exmark Radius. Check it out. And that's what I got for you guys on today's Monday show. Hey, we try to come back here every week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. The podcast is growing like crazy. We can't thank you guys enough for the support, for listening in. Hopefully you guys are staying motivated out there. I know it's hot. I know we're all a little tired, a little exhausted. June 20th was Liz's birthday, and that's the I think the 21st is the first day of summer. And that's kind of like the fulcrum, right? I think that's the longest summer day, if you will, the longest, lightest day of the year. And after this, it's, I hate to break it to you guys. I think from what I understand, that's the longest day of the year, which obviously means every day we lose, I think every day from here on out, we lose like 2 or 3 minutes of sunlight, and after like another 150 days of this or whatever it is, by the time we get to October, as you guys know, or even December 20th, I guess is what it would be. Like it gets dark at Michigan, like until about 8:30 in the morning, up until it gets dark at about 4:45 in the afternoon, which is just brutal. And I hate the winter blues as much or more than the next guy, right? So that being said, make as much hay as you can while the sun is shining. If some of you guys want to work from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., God bless you. Lord knows I did that for a decade. But make hay while the sun is shining, okay? Taking advantage of these summer days. I know a lot of you guys are tired. A lot of you guys are exhausted. It's a marathon, not a sprint, so don't burn yourself out dealing with the heat and arm wrestling. 104-degree temperatures with 89% humidity. Texas, I'm talking to you, okay? Tennessee, Virginia. I know you guys deal with some nasty humidity and heat. Georgia, Florida, of course. But, again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And we'll all get to the finish line. The cooler temperatures will kick in here in just another, month or two. And we'll be wishing it was, 80 and sunny all back over again, right? And especially hurting for it in December, January, February up here in Michigan. We're like, hey, what is summertime again? And we have that amnesia. So, all right. Well, that's what I got for you guys on today's podcast episode. Launchpreneur Academy Live tickets are going to go on sale the first part of July. Promo code Brian saves you 50% on Equip Expo tickets. Brian's 10 saves you 10% on Isotunes, Cujo, Proven Locks, Ballard Products, Equipment Defender, and so many more. We'll have links in our link tree if you guys want to check out those to save a couple bucks. And if you guys want to support the show, that's the best way to do it, is use the promo code. We super appreciate that. Cycle CPA, promo code Brian will save you $200 on ramping if you guys need a good bookkeeper. Fantastic folks. They're going to be sharing again here at Launchpreneur Academy Live 2023. Can't wait to have them in. And if you guys need contracts, snow postcards, snow training programs, we're going to start talking snow here before you know it. I invite you guys to check out the snow section of launchpreneuracademy.com. That's our training website. It's got all the resources there for courses, contracts, and so much more. That's where I would encourage you guys to visit. All right, that's what I got for you guys on today's podcast episode. Looking at my notes here, I didn't really talk about anything else that I wanted to about the barn, about the house, the property, but maybe we'll wait to get a little update with that with Liz, maybe on a podcast episode later this week. We got some spicy updates, which is drama, if you guys can't tell, but none that we of course, inflicted. But you know what? When you want to make progress, sometimes there's people out there trying to throw water on your fire, on your parade. So I figured it'd be a good 1-2 punch, a good cop, bad cop, if I got Liz on the podcast and we could talk it out loud together. But either which way, it's just life. It's just stuff. But you know what? we're taking ground every single day, just like you guys are. And it'll all get figured out along the way. So that's what I got for you guys on today's podcast episode. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next episode.
When it comes to running a lawn and landscape business, there's always something to worry about. Are my drivers and crews doing their job? Are my clients happy? Are my trucks and machines safe? How can I make more money? Where can I save some money? With GPS Track It, you don't have to worry about it, because our software gives you a level of clarity and control over your business that you've never had. From real-time vehicle and asset tracking and optimized routing to efficiency reports and more, reach your fullest business potential. Call 866-845-1410 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to get started. That phone number and special link are in the show description. GPS Track It. Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and one more thing. If you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you need our free email newsletter. It's delivered 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. Join our mailing list to stay connected to the world of lawn care and get exclusive access to the latest and greatest from Fullerton Unfiltered and Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Don't miss out on this opportunity to stay ahead of the curve and elevate your lawn care game. Sign up now with the link we've provided in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.